Hello and welcome to the Pharmacist Support podcast, A Dose of Wellbeing. I'm Melissa Cochran, your host. I'm the Wellbeing Development Senior Manager here at Pharmacist Support. This podcast is all about your well-being. We aim to have inspiring and exciting conversations with people from the pharmacy profession. Today we're speaking with Rowena Simm. Ro is our Senior Officer for grants. And in addition to the work she does on financial assistance, Ro has administrative responsibility for our addiction support services. So we're going to be talking about our addiction support, the kinds of changes it makes in people's lives, and how valuable it is for us as a charity and for the pharmacist community that we support. So thank you, Ro, for coming on today. I really appreciate you being here today. So although addiction inquiries are not some of our top inquiries at the charity, I personally think that the addiction services that we offer are incredibly impactful and potentially some of the most impactful that we do. So can you tell us a little bit about the addiction support services and how we can help pharmacists with concerns about addiction?
Absolutely. I'm very happy to be here today and obviously give a little bit more information and raise awareness about the addiction support services. Firstly, I'd like to stress that all contact to us, to the charity, will remain confidential. We don't report to the GPHC or any other organisation. We do find that some pharmacists are a little bit suspicious and obviously that can cause reservations about reaching out for support, but I just want to get that across straight away, really. So we are a completely independent charity providing an addiction support service that can be accessed by pharmacists, trainees and students. Concerned family members or colleagues of a student, a trainee or a pharmacist, if they're aware of someone with an addiction, they can also contact the service and we would be able to sort of offer advice on how they might help the person. I would encourage anyone wishing to seek support with addiction issues to check out our addiction support webpage. There's lots of information on there already, and there's also telephone numbers for the free confidential helpline, the addiction support helpline. And calling this number means that you'll very likely get through to speak to me. And if I'm not available, then there is the facility to leave an answer phone message. And obviously, once I've picked the call up, I would be able to return the call. Alternatively, contact can be made directly to our information and inquiry team. And any inquiries with regards to addiction can be put to the team. They would also be able to pick up and deal with those kind of inquiries and see how best we can help somebody. I think probably what I would suggest is that if someone is unsure about their eligibility and how we might be able to help them, that they contact us anyway using any of those contact means, and we would get back and have a chat and obviously see what's the best way going forward with regards to helping them with the issue. So
that's great. Yeah, so a bit of information there about how people can approach us, who they might be talking to, and I imagine that'll be really reassuring to people, and as well as the confidentiality piece, because I do think that when discussing something like addiction, there can be a lot of worry before approaching us. So really helpful to know that we don't report to the GPHC. It is all confidential. And that's a huge piece of the puzzle.
Absolutely.
So how long have you been working with our addiction support program?
Well, I've worked for Pharmacist Support for nearly 15 years. And so basically from day one.
From day one.
So
okay.
years.
So a lot of experience there. And so what kinds of calls do we receive? What types of addictions do we support with?
So for almost the 15 years that I've worked for Pharmacist Support, addiction to alcohol and drugs has consistently remained the main reason for someone that will be contacting us for support. So this is addiction to obviously alcohol or opioids such as codeine and other painkillers. And there's an increase in over-the-counter medications as well, which obviously have a significant impact, particularly if someone's trying to withdraw. It's not as easy as they think. And so obviously we're here to help. Other issues coming through now, still in low numbers, but we're getting inquiries about gambling, eating disorders, shopping, gaming, sex, and I've actually had somebody that contacted us because they felt they were addicted to work and needed help to manage that. And a more recent contact was from someone who was addicted to their phone and doom scrolling. So obviously we take all the calls very seriously, and we will obviously listen to the person and then look to either signpost or refer them through to other forms of support as appropriate.
Well, that's fantastic, Ro. It's really nice to hear the different types of addictions that we can support with, and that there are some that people might not always think of as well. So work addiction, phone addictions, we do know these things are on the rise. So that's great that people know that they can contact us about those as well. It doesn't have to just be alcohol or drugs.
Definitely.
So if someone does call, what can they expect from sort of the moment that they make that call? What happens?
Okay. So having spoken with many callers over the years, we fully understand the concerns that they may have, pharmacists in particular, with regards to reaching out for help. And we also appreciate the courage that it's actually taken them to make that call as well, to reach out for the support. If I can say again, the service is confidential. We won't judge. We will listen and allow the caller to take their own time with regards telling us as much information as they want to share. So if appropriate, the caller can be offered the opportunity to speak in confidence with a fully qualified trained counsellor. Excuse me. We'll need to take some basic details, some basic contact details from them. And then obviously with their permission, we can then make a referral to the counsellor, so that that's the first step in them getting the professional support. Paul Sunderland is the counsellor, and once he's got the contact details, he is extremely busy, but he will always make an effort to reach out and make contact with the referred person as soon as possible. And generally what he tends to do now is he will send an email, so it's more of a gentle introduction rather than phone call and it's me. And so obviously in the email he will ask for a more convenient time maybe, or an appropriate time for him to call and go into sort of, it is an assessment actually. He will do an assessment with them on the phone, and that it can be quite a lengthy process, particularly if somebody has been dealing with addiction and they've got other issues. That generally happens. Other issues will come up, particularly when speaking with Paul, with the counsellor, and so he can see that there could be many facets to the help needed for the caller. And so further calls might be required. And then after that, he would look to provide specialist advice and support, and that could be either signposting to local services or appropriate treatment options. So following Paul's contact, he may suggest that a 4-week residential treatment programme is required. And this would usually mean a managed detox programme. The facility that we generally use is Clouds House down in Wiltshire. And in addition to the detox programme, the client would also learn the skills to break the cycle of addiction, and then obviously maintain abstinence. Because being in residential treatment, and this is said, obviously quite a few times from people that we've helped go through these kind of programs, they feel great when they come out. You know, they've had that very one-to-one, in-depth treatment program, and they feel as though they can come out and everything's fine. But once they're back into, you know, sort of normal daily routine, the same temptations might be there. Some don't have family support, and that's when the risks, you know, some perhaps can raise their head again in that that the person needs more support. So Paul is there. So even if somebody goes through residential treatment, the counsellor that they spoke to in the beginning will be there for them for a number of months after the treatment. He will see them in clouds, and then he will also offer telephone support, possibly people still use Skype, I can't remember, but some kind of online support might be available for them. So obviously, you know, sort of that gentle releasing and sort of helping people stand on their own 2 feet after the intense treatment has finished. So if anybody's curious about the counsellor, they can find more information out about him, because he very kindly did us a video, and that is available on our YouTube channel. And he was very candid about his experience with addiction, and obviously, you know, sort of his journey and his working with the charity Pharmacist Support. So that information, as I say, is there on our webpage, and it's easy to find.
That's great.
We are very conscious that some may wish to distance themselves from the profession, and that could have an impact on them wishing to seek support from us, from the charity as well. And so I would say if anybody does have a reluctance to contact us, on our webpage we also have signposting to other organisations as well, and signposting links to other organisations. One of those I just want to sort of give a bit of a shout out to is the newly formed Pharmacy Professionals Recovery Group. And this group is it's a peer-led group, and it's for pharmacists in recovery, but it's not just for pharmacists. The group will now also include trainees and students, so they're very happy for those that you know, sort of work, and even technicians. So anybody, you know, sort of in the pharmacy family, if they feel that they need some kind of non-judgmental support from somebody that's been through recovery, they can contact this group. Meetings are held once a month on the first Sunday of the month via Zoom, and participants can attend anonymously. So again, it's a confidential service. No information is shared with the GPHC or any other organisation. And I think what's nice about this group is that they're mainly pharmacists at the moment. They're all at very different stages of recovery. Some have been in recovery for a long time, for many years, and some are new to recovery. Some are just going through a fitness to practice hearing because an addiction issue has been raised. The employers had to report them to the GPHC. So there's quite a good range of support that somebody could receive by contacting this group. And I'm sure they would welcome everybody. So
that's great. Really helpful to know what the process is like and how people might progress through once they make that first phone call. So would we be able to receive calls from someone who's not experiencing addiction themselves? For example, a partner or a spouse or a colleague? Would it be okay for them to contact us about someone else?
Absolutely, yeah. The service is here. The aim is obviously to get the support to the pharmacist, the student, the trainee. So we can arrange for a family member or concerned colleague to also speak with Paul, the addictions counsellor, and he would look at ways for the person to then be able to support the person with the addiction, and obviously try and encourage them to seek the right kind of professional support if necessary. But also it's about the close family member, in particular, say a spouse. I mean, living with somebody with an addiction must be extremely challenging, and obviously can be very stressful and put a lot of strain on a relationship. So again, it's the person's well-being as well. We can offer, through our other services that we have, one-to-one counselling through our provider, CFC.
Yeah, the Counselling and Family Centre.
Yeah, so sorry about that. I couldn't quite remember the name.
That's all right, yeah.
Just so used to using CFC and GPHC. It's all,
yeah.
So we can put people in touch with alternative counselling as well. So there is a process to go through. We do, the information is quite clear on our webpage with regards to the counselling support, and then there will be a short form for the person to fill in, and then we could just do some basic checks, and then we'd be able to sort of arrange some one-to-one counselling, and we can offer up to 8 sessions, which I'm sure would be quite beneficial to a lot of people.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's great. And I know that there can be sort of rippling effects from addiction out into other areas of people's lives, their relationships, their finances, their career, self-esteem. All of it can be impacted. And I wonder if you can tell me a little bit about how our support and how our services around addiction have changed people's lives.
Yeah. I mean, we understand how scary or concerning it can be for someone to take the steps to reach out for support. And it's not uncommon for people to tell themselves, oh, it's not that bad, or I can manage this myself. But trying to self-manage just generally doesn't get the effective results. And we know that without the right kind of support, things can escalate. And in some cases, this can and has led to quite serious consequences, and can affect a person's personal and professional life as well. So we would encourage people to reach out as soon as possible and getting the support before things do reach a crisis point. And that can make all the difference. But no matter where somebody is on their journey, we're here to help, and it's never too late. And to ask for support, at whatever point, it could be the change that makes that difference for the better. So, I mean, to recover from addiction, it does take a lot of willpower and hard work from the individual. And they can access the treatment and support and receive the counselling, but at the end of the day, it is all down to them. And their determination, really. And we've got some incredible case studies on our website of people who we've supported through treatment, and they've been able to return to the profession. And in some cases, people are even managing the pharmacy now. And so, to be going through a fitness to practice investigation is not the end of the world. The GPHC do recognise that addiction is a health matter. And they will be as supportive as they can be, but obviously as the regulatory body, there are standards that need to be met, and patient safety obviously is very key. And if there's any question that a pharmacist's standards or ability to act professionally through addiction reasons, then obviously they've got to take the steps to investigate. And make all the checks and ensure that the pharmacist is safe to work. So I think the feedback that we get from people as well that we've helped to go through treatment. Sometimes it might just be a conversation with Paul. It might be that treatment isn't actually necessary because there can be local services that the person can reach out for. But it's really heartwarming for us when we get the feedback and we can see the difference that our help has made to that person. And sort of some pharmacists, they thought that their relationship was over, but because then they started to seek the right kind of support, they're back with the partner, and the children, sort of want to be around. Whereas before, it was just a very different story. So I think Pharmacist Support really is one of the very few professional charities that offers such a personal level of service.
Yeah.
And through this support and a combination of the other services that we have available, we have been able to assist pharmacists and others that meet our criteria to access the right kind of support and assist them in their recovery. And as I say, the case studies on the webpage are really, really powerful, and it's good to see that we can make such a difference.
Yeah, that's just wonderful. So for someone who's thinking, should I make the call, should I not, it might be inspiring to go on and look at some case studies and see how someone has gotten from point A, which was a pretty low place, to point B, where they're back in their profession, their relationship is thriving, and to know that is possible, and that there will be there to support them through that journey. I think that's really, really important.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Ro, I think that's a great place to leave it for today, because we have seen so many times the incredible change that our addiction support service has made in people's lives. And I hope that it's been inspiring to people who maybe have questions about their own addiction, or might be concerned about a partner or a colleague, to feel safe and feel comfortable enough to give us a call, to know that they'll be speaking with you and that you have so much experience in this area and you act without judgment, without fear of GPHC repercussions from the phone call to us. I just think that this conversation could be life-changing to people. So I thank you so much for coming on today. It's really important. We always hope our listeners are feeling inspired to bring about positive changes in their own lives. And if today's podcast has resonated with you, you'll find further well-being information, videos, and online content on our website and on our well-being learning platform, which is available to pharmacists, pharmacy students, and trainees for free. For further information on our support services, including addiction support, please click on the How We Can Help link in the podcast description. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you feel you may need support. We want to continue providing our free and confidential support services and to open up conversations like this to ensure no one in our pharmacy family faces challenging times alone. As an independent charity, we rely on donations from individuals and organizations across the profession to enable us to do this. If you're in a position to do so, please consider making a donation today. You can find a QR code in the show's description or at the end of the video. Donations help us to provide our essential services, including our counseling and peer support, financial assistance, and of course, our addiction support services. So thank you so much for listening, and we look forward to seeing you again at our next podcast.